The world knew him by many names: the dictator, the CIA's favorite asset, the cocaine general. But behind the dark glasses and defiant smirk was a man who rose from Panama's slums to sit atop a throne built on secrets, blood, and betrayal. Was he a patriot, a puppet, or a predator who outwitted everyone until his empire crumbled? This is the untold story of Manuel Noriega, a man who fooled the world's most powerful intelligence agencies, ruled with an iron fist, and turned Panama into a playground of drugs, espionage, and control. But every king falls, and when he did, the world watched, stunned. Manuel Antonio Noriega was born on February 11, 1934, in a poor neighborhood in Panama City. His father was an accountant, but Noriega never enjoyed the privilege of a stable family. He was sent to live with relatives in the slums of Panama, where survival taught more than school ever could. From an early age, Noriega learned to watch people closely, to understand their fears, desires, and weaknesses. His friends described him as quiet, cunning, and always calculating. Unlike other boys, Noriega didn't try to be liked. He tried to be needed. That mindset would shape the rest of his life. His academic journey was average until he earned a scholarship to the Carrillo's military school in Peru. It was there that he found his calling. The military academy didn't just train soldiers, it molded intelligence officers, covert minds, and power seekers. Noriega was fascinated by psychological operations, surveillance, and control. He wasn't the strongest, but he was always the smartest in the room, and everyone around him noticed. In the 1960s, Noriega joined Panama's National Guard. He wasn't known for physical prowess, but for his razor-sharp intelligence. Soon, he came under the mentorship of General Omar Torrijos, the country's strongman and visionary. Torrijos didn't need a soldier. He needed someone who could do the dirty work he couldn't risk doing himself. Noriega became that man. Torrijos sent Noriega on covert missions, spying, intimidating, eliminating opposition, and, most importantly, gathering information. Noriega built an extensive intelligence network that infiltrated political groups, student movements, and even foreign embassies. He learned that controlling a country didn't require tanks, it required secrets. Torrijos relied on Noriega to handle everything he couldn't afford to be connected to. Assassinations, disappearances, surveillance, all were carried out under Noriega's watch. And in return, Torrijos gave him access to the highest levels of government, foreign connections, and military growth. By the time Torrijos died in a mysterious plane crash in 1981, Noriega had already become the real power in Panama. By the late 1970s, Noriega was already working with the CIA. While still serving Panama's interests, he also became a paid informant for American intelligence. The CIA saw him as a valuable asset, someone who could provide intelligence on Central American rebels, communist threats, and drug operations. Noriega played both sides flawlessly. He fed the CIA just enough to keep their trust while building his own empire through corruption, smuggling, and manipulation. He even helped funnel weapons and money to U.S.-backed Contra rebels in Nicaragua. He knew exactly what Washington wanted and gave it to them for a price. In return, the U.S. overlooked his growing power, his brutality, and his connection with drug cartels. But Noriega wasn't loyal to anyone but himself. While cooperating with the U.S., he also built ties with Colombian drug cartels, especially the Medellin cartel. He allowed Panama to be a key transit hub for cocaine trafficking, and he took millions in protection money. Noriega had officially become a triple agent, serving Panama, aiding the U.S., and enriching himself through narco-trafficking. In 1983, Noriega promoted himself to general and took full control of Panama. He didn't declare himself president, but everyone knew he was the true power. His rule was marked by fear, manipulation, and total surveillance. Political enemies disappeared. Newspapers were shut down. Protesters were silenced. He controlled the media, the courts, the military, and the streets. Panama became a country ruled by whispers and shadows. Noriega's spy network reached into every corner: schools, hospitals, churches. Everyone was watched. Everyone was afraid. And yet, to the outside world, he maintained the illusion of civility. He dressed in tailored military suits, gave speeches about sovereignty, and positioned himself as a nationalist protecting Panama from American imperialism. But behind the scenes, he was smuggling drugs, laundering money, and eliminating enemies with surgical precision. His wealth skyrocketed. His enemies vanished. And his paranoia grew. By the late 1980s, Noriega had become too powerful and too unpredictable, even for the U.S. He had started double-crossing American intelligence, withholding information, and acting against their interests. When the U.S. learned about his deep ties to drug cartels and human rights violations, the political mood shifted. In 1988, he was indicted by U.S. federal courts on drug trafficking and racketeering charges. But Noriega didn't flinch. He rigged elections, jailed opposition leaders, and declared himself the protector of Panamanian dignity. The U.S. tried economic sanctions. They failed. The CIA tried turning local military officers against him. That failed too. Noriega had built such a loyal inner circle and such a deep network of spies that he saw every betrayal before it happened. But the final straw came in December 1989, when Panamanian forces loyal to Noriega killed a U.S. Marine officer. That gave the U.S. the pretext it needed. Operation Just Cause was launched. On December 20th, 1989, nearly 27,000 U.S. troops invaded Panama in the largest American military operation since Vietnam. Noriega's forces crumbled quickly. He went into hiding, moving from safe house to safe house, while American forces bombarded strategic locations. He eventually sought refuge in the Vatican Embassy in Panama City. For days, U.S. forces surrounded the building, blasting rock music to force him out. After 10 days, he surrendered. The ghost had been captured. Noriega was flown to Miami, where he faced trial on charges of drug trafficking, money laundering, and racketeering. In 1992, he was convicted and sentenced to 40 years in prison. He spent the rest of his life moving between U.S., French, and Panamanian prisons. Manuel Noriega died in 2017. Even in death, he remained a symbol of secrecy, betrayal, and the cost of unchecked ambition. He was a man who manipulated world powers, controlled a nation through fear, and thrived on chaos. His legacy is a warning that power gained through lies and control will eventually collapse under its own weight. Noriega didn't rise through compassion, charisma, or courage. He rose through intelligence, deception, and an unrelenting hunger for control. And in the end, the very secrets he used to rule became the reason for his fall.
The case may be closed, but criminology never sleeps. Like and subscribe at Join Criminology and step deeper into the dark with us.